So something came across my feed this week that made me want to take Mormon women out there by the hand. It was a video of a guy at UVU where I went to school, but I dropped out after a year to get married, where this guy goes around asking girls, would you rather have a ring by spring or a degree by spring? And every single girl said ring. And I just want to say to any Mormon woman watching this, oh, I know where she's going with this. Maybe you don't. I was married in the temple at 19. No degree. A lot of the girls in the video I saw sounded just like me. Oh, she's going to give us a cautionary tale. No, I'm going to add some wider context because I'm a smarty pants and you are too. Let's talk about this. I wasn't good at school. I just wanted a man to pick me. And I'm not here to say that's right or wrong or what about that. I just want to speak to the wider context of the system in the LDS Church of what, once picked, will be expected of you. Remember back to the story Elder Anderson shared at General Conference a couple months ago about a man who cheated on his wife, and the mistress was convinced to not abort the baby, and the man's wife raised the child. Alarm bells went off to me that this was not even positioned as a cautionary tale about, hey men, don't cheat on your wife. It was this quote where he said, Elder Anderson said, she, the wife, she believed in the sacredness of life, the holiness of life. This is weaponized religiosity. This translated means that the wife, that she didn't do what was healthy or safe. She did what made her suffer more quietly, so we as a church could call it holy. This was a coded message to women that if your husband betrays you, if he fathers a child with another woman, you better raise that baby, you better forgive him, and you need to be a testimony of how Christ carried you through it. Otherwise, we're going to look at you and say, you're not righteous enough. In Mormon culture and many patriarchal religions, women are told that they are closest to God when they are cleaning up somebody else's mess. That's the subtext. That if you don't raise that child with Christ-like love, then you're the real sinner because you let bitterness creep in, because you didn't suffer beautifully enough so we could call it a testimony. So in this story, her motherhood is not just about her nurturing this wife. It's about purifying somebody else's bad choices with your own unpaid labor and emotional exhaustion. I think it teaches young girls that their future husband's inevitable failures are all part of their divine assignment. I think some people hearing Elder Anderson's story might be like, psh, that sounds made up, that's fine. But is it really surprising in a church that's founded by polygamists where another woman is raising somebody else's baby? That's neither here nor there. But it codes as a message about women and what they're expected to tolerate. It's a story about where the bar is at for men and what they can get away with. And I'm not trying to say that the baby should have been aborted, or I'm trying to diminish the incredible sacrifice of the wife who showed up. That's what happens in the world a lot of times. It reminds me of Viola Davis's character in the movie Fences, who loves the baby as her own. But informed consent-wise, if this situation presents itself, this is what's going to be expected of you. Not taking into account hardwired narcissism that some people have, that they will weaponize your forgiveness forever. And there are certain behaviors that are just hardwired in people, then this is what drives me insane, because this is what is completely lost on the brethren. You can't slap the atonement on anyone. At no point are they looking at this through a critical or clinical dimension to approach this intelligently. They just think the only way through this is through a gospel lens. And sure, that can work up to a certain point, but you're going to hit a wall sometimes of hardwired narcissism, and you're setting your young women up for failure. Full stop. Being picked by a man who will marry you in the temple is a fairy tale feeling, and that delusion, that fairy tale, is what the church is banking on, along with a lot of other things, so that you never stop and ask what the price tag is, because the church doesn't want you counting the cost. It wants to keep you flattered, not informed. It wants you to feel chosen, like the ring on your finger is the end of the story, so that you don't look at the terms and conditions, you don't look at the fine print. They just want you to hear a story like Elder Anderson and come away thinking that your quiet suffering, that your sacrifice is proof of your righteousness, and that staying put, that all makes you holy in this system. So if you're one of the girls in that UVU video, or you once were like I was, I just want you to hear that you didn't fail because you wanted love. I didn't fail because I wanted love. We were handed a script, but we deserve to read the whole script. And you deserved informed consent before signing up for a life of potential emotional martyrdom, dressed up in fancy self-sacrificial religious jargon in a system that will call it a testimony while you quietly suffer.